Okay, everybody.
Yeah, compared to the region, we could go somewhere else and they.
All right, everybody, if everyone wants to take a seat, we'll get started this evening. I want to welcome everyone out to the council meeting for the Morgan County Council for November the 9th. Thank you for adjusting your schedules so that we could have voting in here yesterday and set up Monday night. So at this time, we will open with our Pledge of Allegiance and our prayer, and I will ask Vicki Kivett to pray. And Chip Keller, will you lead us in the pledge?
Absolutely. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Dear Heavenly Father, as we are in this season of thanks, let us give thanks for all the blessings that you put in our life on a daily basis. We thank you, dear Lord, for our homes and our families. We thank you for our health and our community. We thank you for our freedom, dear Lord, and we ask that you bless those soldiers who serve around our world for that freedom. Dear Lord, we just pray that you be with those who are sick and hurt, those that are suffering mentally or physically. We just thank you most of all, dear Lord, for your Son, Jesus Christ, and the fact that we live in a democracy where, like yesterday, we could vote freely, support those that we believed in. And dear Lord, as we move forward, let us work together to bring back the America that we used to have, one that we're all proud of and take part in and contribute to. And all these things we pray in your precious name. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you, Vicki. We'll let the record show that all council members are in attendance this evening. Did everyone have a chance to review the minutes for September 27th, October 3rd, 19th, and 25th? Are there any questions or changes in regard to those minutes? Hearing none, I look for a motion to approve.
Make a motion to approve those minutes.
Kelly Akala will second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Motion carries 7-0. All right, we're going to move into some additional appropriations first this evening. Looks like we have the sheriff up first. We've been expecting this one, sir.
I talked to you about it, I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's all right.
Good evening, everybody.
Good evening.
And Vicki, let's not go back too far. I don't want to go back to scurvy days and wagons and that type of stuff, okay? Yeah, absolutely. I'm coming to you tonight, and I talked to President Meredith about this. Chairwoman Meredith is our gas. Unfortunately, we're up to our limit on our gas. We've moved things around. We've tried to make it to the end of the year, but we're not going to quite make it. So we're going to ask for $50,000 to get to the end of the year. Next year, we have budgeted. We look forward with our crystal 8-ball, and it said put this amount in, and hopefully we'll be good on that. But right now, we're coming forward to ask for $50,000 to get our gas bill till the end of
And
the
you
year.
feel confident that'll take you through the remainder of the year?
Yes,
Good.
ma'am. Yep. Bar any unforeseen things. And I did play the lottery, hoping to get that $1 billion, but that didn't come through, so.
Didn't quite make it, huh?
Won that. One person in California won that.
Yeah, I know.
Wish it was my cousin.
I do too. I wish I knew that person.
I wish it was me.
All right, so we have a request of an additional appropriation of $50,000 from the county general fund for gas to get the sheriff's department through the remainder of the year. Anyone have any questions on that or comments? Hearing none, I look for a motion.
Troy Sprinkle will make the motion to approve this appropriation.
Melissa Green will second that.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries 7-0. Thank you.
Thank you. And I have a second one here. Did you have that one on there?
Yeah, we might as well go ahead and do that
You
one
wanna
too.
do that
Let
one?
me get where. Okay, oh yeah, you want to transfer
Yeah, the second one's easier, better one. What we're doing,
transfers.
we're transferring, we had a speed sign display. We had budgeted for that, and we were hoping to get a grant. That was half of it, and we were hoping to get a grant for the other half. That never materialized. So we're gonna take that money and also overtime money and transfer it to our air cards with our cameras now. We're utilizing quite a bit of data storage with that, with all the cameras the officers are wearing. So we need this extra money for the air cards to pay for that.
Okay. Anyone have any questions, comments?
Kelly Calla will make a motion to approve a transfer of $9,500 from speed sign display and overtime to air cards.
Jason Maxwell seconds.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries 7-0. And then,
I think there's some speed signs display about to be quit used out there on 69.
Hey, that's a good idea. I've got a bumper hitch. See you guys. Thank
On
you.
the same
thank
wavelength.
you.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
It's all about saving money, guys, all about saving money.
Are you, you're not the next one, I don't think.
Yeah.
Right here.
Oh, sorry, I was going on down. Never mind. I was like, what are you doing up here?
No worries, I appreciate it. Thank you very much. Sheriff, you're welcome for not being the highest additional appropriation. Just letting you know. You're welcome, made you look good. First off, I'd like to start off by saying thank you. I appreciate very much the conversations and the rapport that we have built, that I was able to come here previously so that we can ask for doing this in the future, and then we can get started. Because of that, we actually already have the mixer, and the brain, the controller, is now installed at the Highway Department. You are more than welcome to come out and show. We'll show you. We'll give you a little tour, and it's about 98% set up. We do want to do a couple different things with the valves, so we're going to have a guy out there to adjust that, but that is already installed.
Good.
I do apologize for misspeaking previously. My understanding was the $45,000 included the mixer and the spray tanks and everything to get the vehicles up and running. That was just the tanks. It was not including the mixer. So that $45,000 is accurate, but did not include everything we needed. We came to you with quotes, and we have the $121,000 additional appropriation is based off of all the quotes that we had. Once you gave us that approval and we went forward, there were a few other little items that kind of chew into a little bit of that. So our progress is we're going to have 3 up and running sprayers with the mix system. We had to do some additional electrical at the Highway Department to get this going. We had to do some additional piping to get the water in. But it's all set up. It's ready to go. It's going to be about $111,000 for 3 sprayers. We'll use that $10,000 again still for more brine system. Again, everything is the brine system equipment. This is an additional appropriation that's coming from the $250,000 that NDOT gave us specifically for this task, this item. So this is all approved by the auditor previously as far as what it's used for and what all the line items specific with it. Yes? Yes,
Which year, oh, sorry. Go ahead. Which year was the $250,000 receipted into? It wasn't this year, right?
I believe it was received in 2020.
What year it was received?
2021.
2020, 20 or
Yes.
2021? It says 21.
21.
It was in 21?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's just been sitting there, waiting to be appropriated.
Correct. The issue previously, we'd had it in the line item for us last year. We did not include it with this year's budget because the biggest issue was trying to we wanted to build it when we were away from the Highway Department, when we were looking at moving. We didn't want to build something there that was going to be permanent and then move in a few years. So this is something that we can take wherever we need to take and set up in a relatively small amount of time with additional electrical and plumbing as long as we have something set up on that site. So this is something that will be around for as long as we are doing brine system or that needs repair. So this is a permanent fixture.
Can that money remain there, that difference between the 250 and the 120, can that remain there for,
Yes.
repairs or changes that you have to make in the future?
Absolutely.
Okay, good.
Yes.
Do you have an earmark for any other?
Well, we will look to expand depending on how this year works. If it works that we really do like this in the system, we may go to 6 sprayers. We may add an additional size of mixer. We may change it out. So this is the first year, the pilot program. So
And is
we'll
it-
see how this year goes and how it helps us.
Is it only for brine equipment, or can you use it for another purpose?
We'll use it solely for brine system equipment and for anything that will facilitate us getting the brine. Now, if we find that this system is all we're going to need, we may talk to the auditor about using this for material for the brine system, essentially salt. But then there's also additives that we could possibly use in the future that we could still use, we may try to do some kind of a housing using like a little shelter or stand to cover it some more, but you're more than welcome to come outside and to the highway garage, and we'll show you all about it and show how it works.
So you said you had 3 of the spreaders already up and running, but wasn't there a 4th spreader? Like, do we,
Yeah, so we weren't able to get the fourth sprayer, and they're not up and running just yet. Because we were able to ask for them when we did, we put in our request for 4. 3 of them were still available. They should be coming into us in the next couple of weeks, and then that first week in December, those will be installed into the vehicles that we want them installed at. That's already on the schedule for now. So that is the plan currently going forward, so that end of the first week in December, we should be up and running fully system with the Bryan system.
and then we're doing the installation ourselves, or do we have someone doing that installation?
This will be at a shop.
Okay,
Grant, do you remember at Clark, so,
okay.
yes.
And so are we still going to get that 4th one if it's available? Or
We
what?
won't get the 4th one this year. If we look at it, and we've got still 120,000 plus available to us to get about a $12,000 to $15,000 tank and spreader if we need it. But with this, we have 3. We have 1 for each district. We'll probably utilize another one for District 2 sometimes too, as soon as they're done with District 1, just because of size. But again, this is the pilot program. We are really looking forward to getting going with this. And we could do that because you guys were allowing us to go forward last time. We appreciate that.
Does that stay on the truck year-round, or is it like something that's just there?
No, so we will actually be able to remove it as the winter passes, and then we can use that for other materials.
Got it. Thank you.
So is the 121 in addition to the 40-some that was approved previous?
So nothing was approved previous. This 121
This is it.
is the actual additional appropriation ask. Yes, that is
And that
correct.
includes the system and the.
That'll
spray.
include the system, the sprayers, the mixers, everything that we've asked for.
Brought it to us to discuss it prior to the,
Yes, so
Approval.
previously, it was it was not on the agenda. This was me asking if we could go ahead and pursue this. I
Correct.
didn't want to get a go-ahead.
straw poll.
But it was in the 40 ballpark, and now we're at 121.
Correct, and that was when I misspoke from that email. I said, that I
But it's
thought
still
it
well
included everything.
below the
Yes.
250 that's there for
Yes.
it.
Correct.
And it's earmarked for the brine system, and has been since the get-go.
Yes, specifically for the brine system, yes.
Any other questions or comments?
I'll make a motion to approve the additional appropriation of $121,223.
Yep. We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Melissa Green will second that.
Thank you, Melissa. We have a motion and a second. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed, same sign. Motion carries 7-0.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, John.
Thank you.
All right, now I think we've got Jeannie. Yes. How's that going, ladies? Wonderful. Good, glad to hear it.
She's doing a great job.
You're like me, Jeannie, you're gonna pull that puppy down to,
Pardon me?
us short ladies.
Okay, yeah, we're just here to ask you to transfer $10,000 from clinic supplies to our equipment line item in 8951. That's our COVID ARP grant. We spent last month everything that we had in the equipment line item to get batteries for the refrigerators and the freezers. Since we no longer have a generator, we've got batteries, big batteries on those so that if the lights should go out, it will hold it, I think it's 4 hours for each item, refrigerator and freezer.
Okay,
So.
so you mentioned you don't have a
Because
generator.
that line item's depleted, then we wanted to get 10,000 transferred. We don't have anything we're doing with it right now, but we just wanted to get money transferred in case we need it for the future.
Is there any system in place, like if the power goes out and your system does go down, that you're notified by a text or anything?
Yes, we pay for a company, it's called Smart Temps, and they email and text our nurses, so they are aware if the lights do go down, or
It's
the
4
power.
hours isn't that long.
Pardon me?
4 hours isn't that long.
That's correct, but it will give them time then to get here. I mean, you never know what kind of emergency might hit. They may not, be the roads may not be drivable, or,
Right.
But we, felt like that would give them some time to get here and get the vaccines out. We can take them now to the coroner's office, and because we do have another refrigerator there, and he has a generator. But, we just never know. We have one nurse that lives, where she lived, down around Bedford. Well, between, sometimes she's at Columbus, sometimes she's at Bedford, but anyway, so she's like an hour away, and then the other nurse lives out of town. Well, if we have a bad storm and there's, roads aren't drivable, then we wanted to have a little bit of time to, be able to get here. So,
Your generator just wore out, didn't it?
yeah, it just quit working. It hasn't worked for, how long's it been? Several years. We weren't aware to begin with that it was out or not working properly, and but then we found out that it was no longer working. And with all the building and remodeling and everything going on, we felt like it would be better to wait until
Go this route for now? Okay.
we get repositioned or whatever we're going to do, or they're going to do.
Anyone else have any questions on this transfer?
So you just don't know what you're going to spend this money for? You just want to transfer it and
We
put it
just
in there
wanted
for
to
the end of the year?
transfer, and this fund will transfer over to next year. It's not like it ends in December, like, our other budgets. This money is going to carry on over, so.
And you don't see that making you run low in your clinic supplies through the remainder of the year?
No.
Okay.
Out of the $330,000 we received, we've still got about, we probably only spent about $80,000
Oh,
so
okay.
far of that
All right.
money. So
Okay.
no,
All right.
And that money will roll over too.
yeah.
Okay. Without any questions or comments, I look for a motion.
Vicki Kivett makes a motion that we do the transfer of $10,000 from clinic supplies into equipment.
Thank you, Vicki.
Melissa Green will second that.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries 7-0. Thank you.
Thank you.
While you're there, can you explain the, where you can go get COVID vaccines? And is it in this building or is it on
No.
East Morgan?
The COVID vaccines are at the COVID clinic at 1375 East Morgan Street. They're only doing them on Wednesdays right now, 9 till about 11:15 for morning. Afternoon is 1 to about 3:15.
And is that by appointment?
No, just a walk-in basis.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, we're going to move on to the bottom portion of the agenda where we have the 2022 Go Lease rental bonds. And Zach, are you going to come up and kind of walk us through this?
Good evening.
Good
Zach
evening.
Klutz with Taft. This is the next step of the lease rental process. It's, I think it'll be relatively quick. The lease rental statute requires that the county receive a petition of at least 50 taxpayers before you can proceed with this type of financing. Before you or in your packet should be the petition that has been verified by the county auditor of taxpayers or property owners in the county. I believe the count is 59. And we have an affidavit attesting to the validity of the property owners and the signatures. So what I would ask is, first, I can answer any questions regarding this, but I think for the record, what I'd like to have is the council make a motion to formally accept the petition so that we can be on record that this was received and this process was met.
Did everyone receive in their packet the list of signatures of property owners? And it does total, I believe, 59. I think you're accurate in that. So I think what Zach is asking for this evening is just the acceptance of the signatures that we've received on the petition.
Not a motion, right?
Yes.
Oh, and a form of motion?
Yes.
Vicki Kivett makes a motion that we accept the signatures on the lease agreement.
Kelly Callable, second.
We have a motion and a second to accept the agreement and the signatures as presented. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries 7-0.
Thank you. The next item is simply an introduction of an ordinance, which is ordinance 2022-17, as well as a copy of the final form of lease agreement with financing. There's no action needed other than introducing this for purposes of adoption or a vote and adoption at the next meeting, which we will also conduct a public hearing on. So I just wanted to make sure that this was introduced at this meeting, give you time to review it. Essentially, it approves the financing, as the fiscal body, you're approving the lease and the financing and directing the Board of Commissioners, provided that they approve it, the Board of Commissioners will be the body that signs the lease, as well as nearly all the bond documents as the executive branch of the county, so to speak. So again, I don't know the procedure you want to do this, but I guess the only item I would say is that I've provided this ordinance simply for introduction, and we will discuss it, hold a public hearing at the next meeting, which I believe is on the 28th.
Has the county attorney read through this?
I do not believe that's a great point. So when I shouldn't have said final form. It's a final form in terms of the financing terms and structure. I will get him a copy tomorrow so that you have a chance to look at it before. We do have a call scheduled soon, I believe, to talk about logistics with your county attorney as well. But thank you for bringing that up, Vicki.
So at the final vote, will we be given the amortization schedule and lease payment schedule to look at? Or will you not have that until the bond closes?
We can put together a draft. We may not have final terms yet. That's
Sure.
something we're still working with the bank on.
Okay.
So let me address that because I think that's an important point. So what we've done is we've based the lease rental payments on the not to exceed $33 million.
Okay.
Then we have an addendum to the lease, which you'll see. And once we know the exact amortization, we modify that to attach it and says, I know we thought it was going to be this, but here are the actual lease payments. And so we enter into a lease, and you'll see addendum A contemplates attaching that addendum and kind of modifying the lease terms. Again, never to exceed the.
Never to exceed. Okay.
Yeah.
So just want to make sure for the record, everyone received a copy of the ordinance, and they did receive a copy of the lease agreement. So you'll be able to review that prior to our November 28th meeting and come back with any questions that you may have.
So the minutes just need to acknowledge that was presented tonight.
I think introduced or presented.
introduced.
I'd prefer
You wanna make a
introduced.
motion that we all received it?
Maybe a
Do we
motion
want
to
take that?
introduce it.
Yeah, I think that would be good, just to have it on record. So I look for a motion that it's been introduced to the council and that each council member has received a copy. So if we'll have a motion that it has been presented, this is not a vote, this is just a motion that, yes, we have received it.
Chip Keller will make that motion that we have
Thank you,
been
Chip.
introduced.
Kim Meredith will second that motion. So we have a motion and a second that the documents have been received in regard to the ordinance and the lease agreement. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries 7-0.
Thank you, everyone. That's all I have. In the next meeting, I believe it's a joint meeting with the commissioners, and we'll hold the public hearing, and we'll kind of talk about the lease and that ordinance in detail. Thank you.
I believe that's for November 28th, for the record, at 5 p.m.? Yes, so November 28th, 5 p.m. will be that joint meeting, and then that vote will take place at that time. Okay. Looks like we have the Morgan County Substance Abuse Council. That'll be after Thanksgiving. And I think we're going to have a presentation from the Substance Abuse Council this evening.
Churches and missions.
Oh, it is. We'll have to miss that one. I got to change the time, though. I had it down for 6, and it starts at 5.
Good evening, everybody.
Good evening.
I know you guys had a long day yesterday, and it's a long day today, so so I promise the 30 slides that you guys were given, I'm not going to spend like an hour up here talking.
Okay, we
So, and
appreciate that.
I'm not gonna read them all to you either. So if anybody in the audience wants a copy of this, then please let me know and I can give a copy of it, but we're not gonna go slide by slide. And also at the same time, I'm just here, I've been with the Substance Abuse Council just about a month shy of 4 years. And in the 4 years that I've been here, I repeatedly have conversations with people who are officials of the county, work for the county, and they have no idea that who we are or that we exist or what we do. I come and see you guys once or twice a year to talk about like our drug-free money and where that's gonna be sent, but besides that, I don't have a lot of interaction with you guys. So Dan and I had a conversation a couple months back, and we decided maybe this would be the best way to just kind of give you a FYI of what the organization is and who we are and things like that. And then also, just to let you know, my office is located in the basement of this building currently. So if you ever are trying to locate me, I'm just downstairs. But I'm going to go through this pretty quick. However, please stop at any time and ask any questions that you have. So we are the local coordinating council for the county. Every county in the state of Indiana has a coordinating council. Those councils were created in the 80s. The point of those councils are we talk about things related to alcohol, tobacco, and other drugs. Any countermeasure fees that are collected in the county go back to the state, they come back to the local coordinating council, and those are given away during grant applications. Just to give an example of our grant applications, they go in 3 different categories. One's criminal justice, one's prevention and education, and the other one's treatment. I'll pick on Rich because he's still here right now. One of the grants that we gave currently is they are purchasing 2 K-9 units with this year's funds that we gave them. So to just kind of give an example of what those are. And again, there's Wellsprings, there's Stability First, there's Youth First, Martinsville Youth Development Center. Those are the organizations that currently are receiving the grants for this year. As part of it, every year we submit a comprehensive community plan. It's about a 15-page document that I spend the year gathering information for meetings. Those are also always available. They're downstairs in front of it. They're on our webpage. They're on the state website. They're all over the place. Those can be reviewed at any point. I'm actually in the process right now of collecting information because I'm going to be submitting that again for the county in January. So if anybody wants a copy of that, please let me know. I'm always always welcome to give that to you. I kind of talked about our grant opportunities there.
You apply for those annually?
The
grants? Or are
yes,
they
it's
just
the ones-
automatically awarded?
Yeah, give or take approximately, like I said, in the 4 years I've been here, the least amount that we've collected in countermeasure fees is about $45,000. The most that we collected was about $62,000. You would have thought COVID would have really changed how many countermeasure fees were collected. It was almost exactly the same from 2020 as it was in 2019. So it really didn't affect much. And the funds have to be equally distributed. So the 4 categories that I talked about, let's just say for easy math, we collect $60,000 in countermeasure fees. Those grant applications, I would need to give $15,000 in criminal justice, $15,000 in prevention and education, and then $15,000 in treatment. And then $15,000 would go to the Substance Abuse Council for administrative purposes. Just to kind of tell you a little bit about, I think pictures apparently are not working, but just to tell you a little bit about what some of our programs are. One of our programs for adults is a Success Over Stress program. We go around all of our programs for free. We don't charge for any programs, youth, adult, anything in the county. All of our stuff is ran through grants. Success Over Stress is an hour-long program. We go into businesses, we go into schools, we go into places like Stability First, Magdalene House, Wellsprings, places like that, and we do like different programs talking about stress, good ways to deal with them, so that way you're dealing with them by taking a walk instead of going home and smoking, drinking, other drugs. We do an sorry, apparently the pictures are just not working this evening. Impaired goggles, we have that for adults, we have that for children. We've got alcohol, we've got illegal drugs, opioids, we have different levels of goggles. We've been going around the community, kind of having people go through obstacle courses, very, very basic obstacle courses, like go through a hula hoop and things like that, where they're wearing the goggles. Again, we've been doing it with a couple of adult programs, but we've been primarily focusing on middle schools and high schools with that. So the kids have really enjoyed that. Question, persuade, refer. QPR is what it's commonly known for. And again, if I'm going too fast, let me know, but I don't want to keep you guys here forever and a day. So QPR is a suicide prevention training that we have. Basically, it's about a 2-hour program. You can attend our class. At the end of the 2 hours, the goal would be that you would feel comfortable enough that if somebody came to you or you noticed somebody showing symptoms of potential suicidal thoughts, you would feel at least comfortable enough to be able to have a conversation with them and refer them to the right resources. So that's for anybody. We've did that throughout the community multiple times in the past several months. Human trafficking is also one of our things that we're most passionate about. We go into middle schools, we go into high schools, we go into situations like Desert Rose, Stability First, places like that. We have conversations with people about making good decisions for yourself. Like if you are a 19-year-old girl, maybe you should not be walking around at 2 o'clock in the morning outside of neighborhoods in Indianapolis by yourself without a cell phone. Those kind of basic conversations. ACEs, adverse childhood experiences. That's a topic that basically before the age of 18, certain things, everyone has discovered that if you go through certain traumas before the age of 18, the more of those traumas that you go through, the greater your chances of being dependent on alcohol, tobacco, or other drugs, or having mental health issues as an adult. So there's a score, you can take a test, kind of go through philosophies of things that have happened, things like if your parents were divorced, if you saw your mother being abused, if you were sexually or physically abused, if you were in foster care, different things like that. Those kind of add to your number, and then the higher your number, the higher your chances are of having adult trauma-related situations. Substance education, we go around again. Some of these will hit back when we're in the youth programs as well. But we go around to basically anybody who wants to hear about us. We have videos, we have handouts. We go around, we talk about fentanyl, we talk about opioids, tobacco, vaping, alcohol, marijuana, how to properly clean out grandma's medicine cabinet after she passes, all types of things related to substance abuse. I am the director of the County Suicide Overdose Fatality Review Board. A group of us, including representatives from the police departments, Mike had to leave, health department. So we've got the coroner, we've got the health department, we've got police, we've got members of the community, homeless representatives, treatment facilities. There's about 25 of us that are on the board. Every month we meet and we go over cases from last year. So like this year, we're working on cases from 2021. We talk about the individual, whether they committed, whether they suicide or whether they overdosed. We talk about maybe what happened and was there anything as a group or different entities that we could have maybe did to prevent that in the future. So our goal is to talk about it and see if there's anything, again, that we can do to prevent. I was, about a year and a half ago, the Department of Health was reaching out to different counties in Indiana and was asking if any counties were interested in kind of being the guinea pigs. So they did 10 counties, which were all large counties to begin with, and then they reached out to another 10 counties, and we were in the second round of 10. So we are actually one of the first, one of the top 25 counties that have did it. Our board is going very well, and I've been actually asked to present at other counties about how well that our board is going. So it's been a very, I don't want to say a successful program, but it's been a program that hopefully will help make some changes in the future. We also are a community resource. We do programming, farmers markets, health fairs. We always have resources. I'm in the process of every floor in this building, making a resource table that have kind of been underutilized in the building, and we're kind of making those a little bit more useful. And now that COVID, knock on wood, is a little better and we're back able to get out to farmers markets and health fairs, we're able to kind of distribute information a little bit more, such as like AA meetings and NA meetings and things like that as well. Just for adults, when I made this PowerPoint back in September, we were up to about 378 different individuals that we had seen. We're actually in around the 450 range right now for adults. Couple of the youth programs, Be the Majority. If you've ever seen any of our videos out there, One of our big programs, a couple of years ago, we had some marketing money that we had some billboards throughout the county. That funding has went away, but we still have funding available where every year I pick different high schools and the kids make the videos themselves. Last year, Monrovia High School, their kind of AT program, made about a half a dozen videos for us. They got volunteers from police departments, they got athletic directors, principals, they got everybody involved. And they make different videos about alcohol, tobacco, underage drinking, making good decisions in prom and things like that. And then the videos are shared throughout the other high schools. So it's kind of a rotation of the different high schools taking turns. And I think it really helps the kids, the message mean a little bit more to them when it is fellow high school students. So, and then all of those videos, there's a link on our website, and then we have a YouTube channel that's got like our most 15 recent videos up there too. Monrovia High School was the one that did it last year. I don't think, since the pictures aren't working, I'm gonna bet the video won't. I had a sample of a video, but for whatever reason, it's not working this evening. Botman Life Skills is one of the programs that we do teach in the school system. That one's a little harder to teach out in the community because it requires about 10 to 12 different, you need to see the same kids 10 to 12 times. So that's hard to do at an after-school program or a place like Wellspring or places like that. So those are, occasionally schools will let us in and then we will teach that program like in a health class. But that's post-COVID, that's been a little harder to get accomplished. One of our other things that we do, like in a lot of after-school programs, Martinville Youth Development Center, Boys and Girls Club, and the YMCA, and Wellspring, we have a building skills through board games. So we take different, you think about if you were younger and you played board games, it was cooperation and being a good winner and social skills and all of the skills that you actually built through playing board games. So we actually take board games around to the different age groups, play different board games with the kids and talk to them about making good decisions and how those decisions affect, like, did you win the game because you made good decisions and things like that. This is not about drugs. It's a universal program. We're doing that in grades 6 through 12. That's actually a second semester of this school year program. We're going to be in Monrovia, Eminence, and Mooresville schools all second semester in their health class. It's an hour-long program where I'm going to go in and talk about, it's not just about the drugs, it's all the decisions that lead up to using the drugs and all of the decisions that might make you have bad decisions after you've experimented with drugs. And that's going to be in mostly 9th and 10th grade health classes is what most schools have the preference of having me in for that. Human trafficking, we kind of touched on that with the adults. It's a similar program that we do with the youth, but again, we just kind of focus on make sure you have your cell phone. It's not the best time to lie to your parents to be in a party out in the country and have nobody know where you are and things like that. So we talked to them about that. Positive Action, that's another program. That one kind of focuses on the younger kids. I never do any programming below 3rd grade because I don't want to be the person that's introducing some of these kids to things that maybe, hopefully, they don't know about. So we don't go below 3rd grade. And then even in like 3rd, 4th, 5th grade, it's usually more of like smoking is bad and don't drink until you're adult and kind of do very vague things with coloring sheets and, you know, stickers and fun and things like that. Positive Action is one of those programs that it's talking about if you do good things, then it makes you feel good. So that's what the Positive Action program is. So it's kind of based for the much younger kids. Again, substance education, we do the same similar program that we do with the adults, focusing on like the middle school and high school students. Also work with Hammond at Martinsville High School, and we also do the PASS program at Mooresville High School, the 2 alternative school programs. We work with those youth there as well. Again, the adverse childhood experiences, we do those with the youth programs. We were about 477 in September when I made that. Altogether now we're in about the 600 to 700 range for the youth. So altogether for our program so far, the last time I put in numbers a couple of weeks ago, we were at about 1,100 different individuals that we have served this year so far. So I know I spoke a million miles a minute, but oh, and there's a couple of other things. Some of our partners, Wellsprings, Churches and Missions, Stability First, Peace Restored, Youth First, Boys and Girls Club, Martinsville Youth Development Center, and Morgan County YMCA. Those are all organizations that we visit Some of them are monthly, some of them are more than once a month, everybody's at least quarterly. Schools, we do Mooresville High School, Mooresville Pass, Eminence Junior and Senior, and Monrovia Middle and High School. Currently, we are not doing anything really in Martinsville, knock on wood, that's supposed to change next semester. There's been some reluctance in Martinsville schools in the last couple of years to do some programming, but there's a couple of people who I have reached out to, and I'm trying to build that relationship. So hopefully that changes, and we are on the schedule for their, one of the programs for next semester. Some of our bigger funders, we have Kendrick Foundation, Department of Health, Community Foundation of Morgan County, Department of Mental Health and Addictions, Indiana Criminal Justice Institute, and some of the other ones are just smaller funders. My staff, that's myself, we're very small. I'm the only full-time employee. I was the only employee for about 2.5 years. I had a program coordinator pre-COVID, then COVID, and then since COVID, about 6 months ago, I was able to hire a part-time community coordinator. So still relatively small organization, so. Our board, I think Dave is still the only person who is in here with us this evening, but wonderful board of directors, very helpful. They do wonderful things for us. So
Great.
that's us in a nutshell. Hopefully I didn't take too long.
You got a
But-
lot going on.
So any questions, any things that I can answer for you? Hopefully you know at least a little bit more about the Substance Abuse Council than you did 15, 20 minutes ago.
Well, I'm surprised you're not in the Martinsville school system, so if there's anything any one of us can do to help with that, we'd.
I will
sure
take
like to
any and all help.
It's because of COVID though, right? Or not?
No.
It is not.
Okay, enough said. We'll work on that for you.
So yeah, and any and all assistance. I actually have a meeting next week with Patty Osler. I think, I don't know what her exact title, kind of the school social work outreach person, and she's trying to help me get into the schools. I've been almost in the school a couple of times. Former superintendents, they said that they were going to get me in, then they left, and then I wasn't able to get in, and then I was kind of on the calendar, and then COVID did hit, and then post-COVID, I've tried multiple
Okay.
avenues. So
We'll
no
make some
luck yet,
contacts.
but I'm open to all suggestions.
Sharing like what you think that hesitancy has been? Or, and if you're not, I don't want to put you on the spot. I just don't want to understand.
Some schools don't necessarily like the idea of just the discussion of substance abuse in the schools. So,
The elephant in the room.
yeah, so,
Yeah.
and then, well, we have other topics too, where we talk about mental health and we talk about
Yeah, exactly.
just drugs in general. But when I also go in and I talk to the schools, I just did Mooresville High School. I hit every 9th grade health class, and we spent an hour talking about vaping. So
Yeah.
it's not, I don't have to go into the schools and talk about fentanyl. I don't have to talk about opioids or heroin. It doesn't have to be that deep of a substance. It can
Nicotine's
literally be
addictive.
vaping, which every kid in high school knows what vaping is. I'm not
Yeah.
going to be
Right.
introducing them to a vape pen by having a
Right.
discussion about it, so.
Have you ever done any programs on the private schools within the county?
I've reached out to a couple. I haven't had a whole lot of success because most of them are the parochial schools who said that they just don't really have time for like a drug education component piece. But again, I want to do our programs in every place that is willing to listen to me talk. So I am open to all suggestions.
Well, Mooresville Christian, obviously has recently started a high school, and so I just think that.
If you've got a
all
person,
teenagers should be
yeah, if
spoken
you,
to.
if anybody
And
has
I
a
mean, just don't think just
contact,
because they go to a private school that they
Oh.
aren't exposed to the same things, and I think every person should be talked to, every student.
yeah.
Do you
So
have any
anybody
cards?
has a contact, I've
get you
got
a
cards,
contact.
I can bring you guys my
Yeah,
cards
if you
up.
could do that, that'd be
Any,
great.
yeah, anybody who has any contacts with any school system. We also, I've also talked to like Boy Scouts, Girl Scouts, 4-H groups and things like that as well.
Okay.
So I'm open
great.
to all of those different
Well, we
groups.
appreciate what you're doing.
Great, thank you.
We'll try to
All
help
right.
you with that.
All right, thank you guys so much.
Good
Thanks for your time.
presentation. Thank you. All right. Next on our agenda is the Job Committee met before our meeting tonight to go over some job descriptions and our classification changes. So is there a did you have something to present to us on those? Oh, our HR director does.
Sure. When the Job Maintenance Committee met last time, they requested, we had talked about, I think I spoke to you guys about it, saying this was coming. We had talked about a position between the auditor's office to be shared with the treasurer's office. They requested that we get a job description, an official one. So that was approved tonight, and I think that is in your packet.
Yes, it is. Under the subject, new position, request treasurer, auditor, shared position.
Yes.
Okay. Do we need to vote on that?
Yes. Do you want, I can go on.
You wanna
We
go
only
through-
have one more. We don't have one from the building and grounds. The other one that we have is a part-time employee for the treasurer's office. When Terry and I were talking about this, we realized we did not have a specific job description for that job. So she wanted to go ahead and do that, and she has now approved that also. And then the Job Maintenance Committee also approved that tonight at our meeting.
Okay.
In the budget, we adjusted, or they adjusted for that.
Yes, you already made
Went
the
through all that,
changes
yeah.
for that in the salary ordinance and
Right,
things too.
And then the one that's presented tonight.
Yes, and we'll go through that salary, the salary ordinance will be voted on this evening too, so, and it has been addressed in that. Good question, Chip. So we do have our positions, and I look to the committee if there's anything that we need to be aware of, or, but it was voted on, the changes. All right.
I do want to, again, applaud those two departments, treasurer and auditor, for stepping outside the box and being the first office to job share employees. I think it's a powerful move in the right direction, and would like to have seen it started a few years ago.
So we're
But
glad to see it now.
absolutely.
Appreciate it. Hope others follow suit. All right, any other questions or comments on this before we vote on these job description changes?
As far as the part-time, we also suggested that other part-time positions throughout the county system, we do the job classification for them as well in the future.
Because what Dree had said is that we have other part-time positions within the county that do not have job descriptions.
Correct.
And we think
Correct.
that there should be job descriptions for every position.
I agree.
Consistency across the board.
Right.
Way to protect us all.
Yes.
So is that something you could prepare a list for us of those that there are part-time positions that don't have a job description?
Pretty much say
I
every other
could-
position that's part-time.
Yeah, I think the only other one that we have a job description for is the highway, because we just recently
Okay,
did
so
that
probably
when we
need to
did.
address that.
Mhm.
in the- Yeah,
I have no answer for why WIS did not address it when we first did this.
yeah. Well, it was a starting point, and we're kind of working our way through it, and it's been a good place to start. All right, I look for a motion to approve these changes as presented on the job descriptions.
Kelly Ocala will make that motion.
We have a motion. Do we hear a second?
This is just for the auditor and treasurer's office.
Yes,
So
that
there's-
shared
There's a third
position.
one listed on the agenda. I want to make sure it's clear that we're not.
Or
yeah.
we're not
I know
addressing the
the
maintenance
commissioners-
position. It was removed.
Yeah.
Yes. Good point.
Just to clarify.
Marco seconded the motion.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries, and just to be clear, the Building and Grounds Department change was not included in that
Thank you.
vote. Thank you, Dree. Before we move on tonight, I think we've got a special guest with us tonight. Don't we have your grandson in attendance? You want to
Yes.
introduce this young man?
This is Griffin Jennings back there that won't stand up.
Hey, Griffin.
This is my grandson. He's a freshman at Martinsville High School.
Well, we are glad you're here tonight. We appreciate that.
His trip to the gym tonight got canceled, so he got
So
stuck with Papa.
you get to hang out at one of these meetings. Well, we won't keep you too long, but we're glad you're here, and we wanted to
My wife-
recognize you.
My wife Pam is sitting there by him.
Yes. We all know Pam. We just didn't know that. Now,
You didn't know that?
I've seen his artwork for
Yeah,
8,
this
7
is-
years now, so.
This is his artwork he did in 2014. I've had this on my mouse
Yep.
pad ever since.
Papa's proud of you. We're glad you came. Thank you, Griffin. All right, so the next thing on our agenda is our 2023 salary ordinance. Has everyone had a copy of that? And I think Dan did just give us a revised,
Right.
the
We
revision
found-
of the revision.
We found a couple other areas where it had not been updated. The jail commander and jail matron didn't get updated with the 2,500 in the previous
Okay.
version. This one now has it
Got that
updated.
corrected, all right.
Not going to say there aren't other problems, but it's been
Yeah.
looked over by many people.
Combed, yeah,
Let's hope that there is none, but hot off the
hot
press.
off the press, okay. So, I look,
These reflect the 3% pay increase plus $500 for all of the non-public safety positions. For public safety, it's $2,500. For the hourly, those that are compensated on an hourly basis, the 2,500 was converted into a per hour amount. Those are reflected in the per hour amount. And then obviously for the salary position, it's a $2,500 increase in the salary.
okay. Anyone have any questions or comments in regard to the salary ordinance? Do you have a copy that is the one we're to sign?
Yeah, it's right
Okay,
here.
all right. I just want to make sure I wasn't supposed to pass mine down once we've done it.
Don't you mark on it.
I won't mark on it. All right, did we have any questions, comments, or changes? Hearing none, I look for a motion to approve the 2023 salary ordinance as presented.
Melissa Green will make the motion to approve the salary ordinance as presented.
Thank you, Melissa. We have a motion.
Jason Maxwell, seconds.
Thank you, Jason. We have a motion and a second. All those in favor of the salary ordinance for 2023, please signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed, same sign.
Aye.
Motion passes 6-1. Is there any other business that needs to come before the council this evening? Josh, did you have something for us?
Good evening, everyone. Linda caught me and asked me to come talk to you. We've got a committee that we put together to look at some changes to our PTO. Some of the things we wanted to look at are moving to an accrual-based system. We're getting a lot of employees that get a big chunk of time and then leave, so that's something we're looking at changing. Also looking at changing the use of PTO before somebody retires or quits, and then modifying the amount of payout available to employees. So these are all things that we're looking at right now. Our committee will probably meet again, but our hope is to have something in place before the end of the year.
Okay, something that if you come up with that you could bring before us that would be in place by the first of the year?
That's our
Is that
goal.
what you're hoping
Yep.
for? Okay. that's-
Assuming you all and the commissioners are both in favor of this, but these are the changes we're looking at.
Yeah, I have no problem with it. Does anyone have any questions on that?
Josh, before you walk away, I've got one more question. If we're done talking about that, can you give us an update on the financial advisor that's been
Oh, that's a
contacted
good
and where
point,
that
Chip.
stands?
Yeah, Reedy's been hired. We've had a kickoff meeting with them. Deb and I are going to be going around to all the departments to get their capital improvement plans. I talked with Linda today about some documents to get from the auditor's office to them, and they'll start the process.
Okay, thanks.
And this is off subject, but I have a question too, while we've got you up there. Have we thought about in the process, someone asked me about voting while we're going through the construction phase.
Yep,
Has
Tammy
that
has
been-
already opened that conversation. We've started talking through some options.
Okay.
We were just talking tonight, it may need to go out to the 4-H building. We may go in the back side of here. We've got different options.
Okay.
But the building will still be accessible during construction as well.
Sure.
We'll improve ADA ramps from the parking lot all the way around to this side of the building.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure it was on the radar for that somebody was looking at, because I thought,
Yeah.
we haven't really talked about that. So I was sure someone had, and I just hadn't.
Yep.
Okay, thank you, Josh. Well, I thank you all for being here. Is there anything else you want to bring before the council before we adjourn this evening? Yes, okay.
Adjourn?
We have a motion. Do we have a second to adjourn? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Blue folder has all the documents.
Take off, we got signatures, folks.